Hi everybody, Toni from Pasta Academy. Today we'll be making the black ravioli, the squid ink ravioli, filled with the cod and crab meat. The black pasta, which is a very popular kind of pasta in Italy. Can be done filled pasta with can be filled or can be just on its own with like fettuccine or pappardelle or penne. Today I'm making the ravioli version. Okay, let's go through the ingredients. I'm making a little bit the Sardinian style. I'll be using, the recipe is 1 kilo, 1 kilo of semola, the durum wheat flour, okay, for 1 kilo. And then we need 4 eggs, 190 grams of water, but that varies, depends on the dough, on the weather, and then we need some for 1 kilo you need 4 eggs, and you need 4 sachets of squid ink, which you should be able to get it in the fishmongers, fish suppliers. Obviously, because I make large quantities quite regularly, I get these jars, which is quite big. So I will put, for 1 kilo, I will put 2 spoons of the spoons of the squid ink. That's what I do. But maybe for small quantities, you should be able to get the sachets, the small sachets, 2-3 sachets per half kilo of flour. So 1 kilo, maybe you need 6 sachets of the black squid ink. Okay, the usual procedure. I mean, if you're making by hand, you can put the flour in the table and make a kind of well and add all the ingredients and kind of mix it by hand, or you can use the mixing machine, the traditional mixing machine. Depends on what kind of quantity we're going to make. I'm making 1.5 kilo today, so I'm using my big machine. You'll have to excuse me, but I use this one here for the. So I put the flour first. The semola is the durum wheat flour. It's a kind of strong flour. Okay, and then I add the eggs. I'm making my dough. So for 1 kilo of flour, really, you should need about 450 grams, 500 grams of liquid, which is partly eggs, water, and the squid ink, a little bit of salt. What I do when I make the ravioli, also, I add up some lard. We call it in Italian, we call it strutto, because obviously the dough needs to be flexible. So it's always it's better if you put some strutto. That will give you some kind of flexibility. So I put this in here as a kind of room temperature. Also a couple of spoons of extra virgin olive oil. That will do very well. Okay. And then the water. Okay, and then a couple of spoons of the squid ink. See what it looks like? It's one. I'm making 1.5 kilo, so I put, like say, 3 spoons. Mix it together. Okay, and I'll just add it up to the flour. Okay. Okay, this is the hard bit. If you're doing by hand, you go to knead it for about 10-15 minutes until the compost is, the dough is very smooth. If you're doing by the machine, again, leave about 10 minutes. With this machine it's bigger, so I probably leave it for about 5 minutes. We got the squid ink dough going. So today we are making the ravioli, with the black ravioli with the squid ink. So we need a filling. So with the squid ink dough, normally the best thing to go with it is fish. I'm using fresh cod and fresh crab meat. So I got 300 grams of crab meat, 700 grams of cod. That is for 1.5 kilos of semola. Okay, but obviously it depends what you'll have to adjust your dosage. It depends what quantity you want to make. What I normally do is I make a sofrito with onions, carrots, celery, just a clove of garlic, and I chop in a couple of potatoes, and I make the sofrito, and then I cook the cod with the sofrito, with maybe a splash of white wine, obviously the seasoning with salt, some fresh dill, and some fresh herbs. And the filling for the black ravioli, so I told you the ingredients earlier on. I chop them up, not very too finely, the carrots, the onions, the celery, and a couple of potatoes, and a couple of cloves of garlic. We make the classic sofrito. With extra virgin olive oil, obviously. A couple of spoons of extra virgin olive oil. Make nice and hot first, and then throw the ingredients. Let them absorb all the flavors. Burrito is now ready. What I do is I add up the cod, which is cut in small pieces again. Okay. I keep the crab meat to last because it doesn't need to be cooked. So the crab meat I put in the last minute. I add that in the last minute. The cod needs to be cooked maybe for about 10-15 minutes. Okay? It has been cooking for about 15 minutes. Smell of the sofrito. Doesn't need too much. But 10-15 minutes. Now I add the crab meat. This one here doesn't need to be cooked too much. Just amalgamate. Okay. Quick stir. Obviously, I put some seasoning, some bit of salt, some a little bit of chili if you like. Put some fresh herbs, some dill, some thyme. All the herbs that you like to go with the fish. Okay, and this is ready now. Okay, what I do is now is I put it through the food processor. And should become a nice and creamy filling to go in our black ravioli. Okay, I got the dough, I got the filling, the cod and the crab meat filling, which is here, and then let's start preparing the ravioli. The machine is a bit noisy. Put it in the right direction. Okay, like I said, you can do it by hand, just do a little bit with a rolling pin, or you could do it with a manual pasta machine. The same kind of principle. If you do it with a manual pasta machine, you put it a couple of times in reverse, fold the pasta in different direction, a couple of times. In the kind of wide setting, and when the dough is reached the right consistency, you can reduce it. That's what I'll be doing now. Make sure you got plenty of flour, dusted flour. This is the right thickness. Okay. And now we start to filling. Like I said, if you're doing small ones, small amounts you can do with a spoon. Just put a spoon of little mountains of fillings. I mean, the ravioli is you can do any shape. You can have them round, you can have half moon, you can have a square, rectangular. So they're all individual kind of taste really. I'm making quite a few, so for me it's easy to do them in this way, in a kind of square shape. But if you're making a few at home, you can use your fantasy. You can get the stamps, cut them with the stamps. Round, square, rectangular, like I said. Right, the pasta is fresh, so it should stick together. But as an extra measure, I put some egg between the fillings, between the two layers, to make sure it sticks properly, so there is no accidents when you're boiling the pasta. I mean, obviously it's fresh pasta. When you're boiling it, it can break, it can open up, and then it will make a bit of a mess with your water. This is the layer that goes in the top. When we put the lard with the dough, it's because the dough needs to be flexible, needs to be elastic. Especially with the second layer, the top layer, it's got to be able to give. You've got to be able to stretch it so it covers all the filling. And then you got to press all around the fillings from one side to the next, pushing the air out. Okay. Now I cut it with my pasta cutter around the edges. What it does is press again between the two layers, gives an extra kind of and it gives a bit of a shape as well around the edges, nice and pretty. So cut it all alongside. All the cuts can be reused. Then I cut along between the fillings. And then I cut them across. And then you'll end up with some square kind of ravioli. They are fresh at the moment. They're okay to freeze them if you make lots of them and you don't use them. They are perfectly okay to freeze. What I suggest is to put them in a tray flat, and then when they're frozen, one by one, put them in freezer bags. That's the best way to pick them, to kind of keep them. And obviously they are fish ravioli. I would recommend a kind of fish sauce to go with this one here. Something like calamari, prawns, peas maybe. Could be creamy sauce or tomato sauce. Or with the fresh clams, mussels. But I would recommend scampi, langoustines. I would recommend it with a fish sauce. Just to boil them in slightly salty water. They only need about 5 minutes to cook, and then they're ready. And enjoy. And here we go. You go your squid ink ravioli, filled with the cod and crab. Lovely. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like it, press the like button, share with your friends, and subscribe, because I will put in more videos, more different pastas and some different desserts on my channel.